Looking from an angle of current economic situation in the world, we cannot overcome that topic here today. The world has changed a lot since last October, but I know that the father of innovation, which is topic of today, Joseph Schumpeter, said about 100 years ago, or a bit less back from today, that it's called creative destruction, or destructive destruction. So it definitely gives opportunities to others. And most probably not big eating small, but fast eating slow. And how can these two, company and the nation, could take advantage from these opportunities? Because crisis is always opportunity, it's not only a problem. So what are your opinions about what challenges, but as well as opportunities it would rise to, let's say, small and fast? Starting with you, Mr. President.
Which one?
The Estonian one.
Well, certainly one of the advantages of small is flexibility or agility. That again, the old analogy is easier to turn around a kayak than a tanker. So we can adapt quickly or more quickly if we're small than if we're large, but that also requires us to be able to adapt. I mean, it's perhaps easier, but we can't just sit there and say, oh, well, since we're small, we can adapt. We have to do it. And that's certainly one of the challenges we face today. Now, specifically on the possibilities of creative destruction in the Schumpeter sense, at least one area where I do see a possibility to actually move ahead in Estonia, aside from the things that creative people can do, but certainly one of the things we've all been complaining about, or at least in the society have been complaining about for 18 years, or perhaps even more, is brain drain. And brain drain is a problem throughout Eastern Europe, in that the best and the brightest often get very good jobs in sort of older, richer Europe or in the United States. With this economic crisis, we have in Estonia a window of opportunity to get our best and brightest back if we are smart. That is to say, we have to get over the impression that many people who have gone abroad that there's no place for them here. If we, based on the sort of general principle of that we see in market economies, that is that last hired, first fired, that I think there are quite a few people either in the financial district in London or perhaps in some other areas, I mean places all over Europe and in the United States, who are from Estonia, who went there, did very well, and now perhaps find themselves without jobs. And in this case, I think it would behoove the government to get these people back. I think it would be good for competition within the civil service as well, if we got some bright financial whizzes into the Ministry of Finance or whatever ministry it is that's appropriate. But I think that is an example of the kind of thing we can do quickly. We can establish that program quickly. We can offer security to our citizens who are abroad, whose loss we have lamented, and who in fact perhaps would take advantage of the opportunity to return and also could be of service to us. I think there are sort of more longer-term things we can do in terms of using the crisis, but certainly that, I think, is one of the first things we should be thinking about, is using the crisis that is we see worldwide to bring back our prodigal sons and daughters.
Okay, thank you. And Josh, what it means to you and your company? Is it more possibilities or is it more challenges? Or is it both?
Well, I think at Skype, you know, Skype is a value play. We allow people to communicate more freely, but also more cheaply. And in times of economic hardship, value plays can sometimes benefit. So right now, we're among the lucky few, and I say this with caution. who don't seem to be negatively impacted by the economic hardship that's sweeping the globe. That said, we do take care every single day to make sure that the investment dollars we spend are wise, and I think this is a great reminder to us of how important that is. You can think of an economy much like a company, that we've just gone through a very high growth phase, and it's not until you get to hardship that you realize, looking back, what some of the mistakes may have been. High growth can cover a lot of evils. So it's good for us to be looking around at what's happening around us and make sure that we don't repeat the mistakes of the present. But I think the larger point you raise is, don't waste a good crisis, right? So what can Estonia learn in this crisis? What can they do to galvanize action? And what I see with companies going through crisis, the most important thing is to crystallize around a mission quickly. So understand what your core business is and quickly scope down to that core business and get everyone on a path. And often companies will go through crisis much, much stronger, partly because they've trimmed the fat, they've made the big changes they needed to make, and they've done it around a very focused idea of what their direction is. So for Estonia, it would be natural, I think, to think about what is our strategy around our economy, what is our core competitive advantage, and how are we going to focus all of our resources to maximize that core competitive advantage. And building on what President Ilves has said, being small can be a great advantage. I look at some of the more successful economies of the recent past. Dubai hasn't done so badly for itself despite a lack of natural resources. Luxembourg, Skype's headquarters, seems to have done quite well despite being very small. Singapore has done quite well. And in each case, I think these countries have looked at what's our unique competitive advantage in the world. In Dubai, well, we have a good port, we have pretty good weather, and we're located centrally between the East and the West, right? Everything else we can change. Tax rates, immigration policy, all sorts of things. That's changeable. Let's build around our strategic advantage. You have strategic advantages in Estonia as well, and I think understanding what are those real competitive advantages you have, what does that mean in terms of building your industry, how can you galvanize quickly around those, and then make the changes you need to make to support those.